This week, the sky brings us a little moment for integration and also reflection on some big ass cycles that we're closing out, going way back, all the way to 2008. And I'm going to get into all of that and more and what it means for you. But first,
welcome to Cosmic RX Radio, a podcast that gives you real-life tools of spiritual empowerment and pure hype. I'm your host and intuitive guide, MADI Murphy. I'll be serving up your weekly energy readings, cosmic boss interviews, and astro inspiration. Are you ready to love yourself more, manifest your dream life, and own your magic? Let's jump in.
it's your girl, MADI Murphy, your high vibe hype woman, your cosmic consultant. How are we doing? As a heads up, I'm going to try and keep this episode a little bit brief and brilliant because I want us all to, like I said, integrate, have space to meditate on all the powerful energy of last week. I mean, there's always stuff happening. The hits don't stop coming when it comes to the cosmos. But this is one of those beautiful weeks when there is stuff going on, but there's not like that major back to back, like crazy chaos in the cosmos. So I hope that you can listen to this wherever you're at, your hot girl walk, doing laundry in the car, and just sort of like use this for, integration, reflection. That being said, speaking of integrating and reflecting, thank you all so much for all of your love and support about baby Sag. Got a baby Scorpio, baby Sag back to back. How lucky am I? I'm so excited to see what these magical beings, who they are and what they're here to teach me and how their journey is going to unfold. But I'm also so grateful they have all these cosmic baddie aunties out there who just are already riding so hard for them. Like baby Scorpio was so loved before he even entered the earth plane. And I'm feeling that way for our SBS, surprise baby Sag. So y'all are so sweet. Virgo announcements before we get into it. My biggest announcement, my heart is really with the people, the families, the victims of Hurricane Helene. I'm just so distraught over it. And I saw a lot of people posting about how we shouldn't name these after women anymore, especially because that is my grandma's name, my cousin's middle name. And I'm like, no, we should name this Hurricane BP, Hurricane ExxonMobil, because no family, no one should have to go through this level of devastation. We need to come back into right relationship with this earth, and that's a larger conversation. But for now, I just want to say that I'm going to drop a link in the bio if you are able to donate any kind of money or resources to help our extended family down there. This is the worst hurricane that we've had since Katrina. The North Node was in Aries, South Node in Libra at that time too, and there is something like this urgency. This Northern Aries feels very like, what are we fighting for? How do we advocate for each other? And just like let this sacred rage fuel us somewhere. Again, I don't have all the answers on that now, but I just want to say as much as you can, whatever you can offer, whether that's money, resources, prayers, energetics, support, let's show some love to our friends, especially in that, like, I keep thinking of that North Carolina area, in all areas of the storm, Florida, Georgia, but I'm like, I just have some friends in the Asheville area, and I think it was also just so unexpected. And this is where we're at. Yes, that sacred rage this week of hearing politicians in the GOP writing off climate change as weird science or all the other things. It's like, oh my goodness. So that's my Virgo announcement, is just feeling into all of that. And of course, other things, you go check out our website for other offerings and fun things we have going on, and other tools of support if you need. But yeah, that's what's on the heart, in the heart space. And as we kind of move on from the Virgo announcements, we're going to get into this week. Like I said, we have not as much happening. I mean, September was a wild ride with eclipses. And October is still going to offer a lot. And I know in like election cycles, they call it like October surprise. We're going to be having a lot of that. Like October surprise is like going to be like the whole month. But this month, we just have some outer planet activity that we'll keep our eye on. Jupiter is stationing retrograde on October 9th. And Pluto is going direct in Capricorn for the last time in our lifetime on August 11th. Amen. Hallelujah. So I'm going to talk about that. And again, this is why it's like more reflective. We're talking about like soul searching. We're talking about integration of bigger lessons. And before I get into that, of course, let's talk about if astrology isn't real. If astrology isn't real, there's so many things. A lot of you did reach out because I had talked about with eclipse season to watch out for extreme weather and water and flooding, but that doesn't really feel like a fun thing to talk about. But again, just aware of how the astrology weather does affect the physical weather always. And there's, as always, a lot jam-packed happening. But the thing that I got probably the most hits on weeks like this where I'm almost like overwhelmed by the human experience. It really helps because you all send me your if astrology isn't real moments, your insights, and we had so many things. Obviously, very interesting. The vice presidential debate was on the night of the eve of the solar eclipse, and the other one was near the full moon eclipse. So that was interesting. But then in terms of the Libra eclipse, justice revealing, bringing things out, the judge in the January 6th case unsealed new evidence, which I think, who knows, like everyone always has different takes on things, but definitely some damning things in there from what I read. But the thing I thought that was very interesting is the headlines were all about like Pence and Trump's frayed relationship. And I don't know why it was really such like Libra on Libra energy in that solar eclipse. And again, there's so many other things that were happening. I'm going to keep it brief and brilliant, in honor of this podcast today. But as always, I love when you guys DM me the if astrology isn't real moments. There are weeks that I'm like consumed in the news and doom scrolling. And there are other weeks where I'm just really wrapped up in writing the book, the baby life, family stuff. So, and it's always just helpful to hear like what feels really resonant on the collective level. And I'm sure as Pluto goes direct in Capricorn, we're going to have more people being exposed and brought out for who they are, what they are, and the dirty deeds they've done dirt cheap. So with that, let's talk about the moon. We always check in with the moon. It's our emotional weather for the week, and we get to really see how we can align with our most grounded and nurtured self. So the day this podcast comes out, we're deep in Libra season, which I love, and Monday, October 7th, we have a Sag moon all day, and that goes into all day Tuesday and into Wednesday around 5:38 a.m. So Sag moon energy, we are looking at what we need to feel optimistic, to feel bright and light from our inner vision in life. Maybe we're doing something where we can laugh or see a different perspective, or going to a yoga class or listening to an interesting TED talk. It's all about like expansion, inspiration, like getting out of kind of the weeds of everyday life. Libra sun, Sag moon, sometimes we can, this is not like a little bit of a party energy. I mean, it's the beginning of the week, but if you want to go out and have a little fun, go for it. Sometimes Libra sun, Sag moon has no like off switch when it comes to like, as my Uncle George would say, who was a Libra, the wretched excess of life, which he loved. We're mindful of the wallet, mindful of our choices. We can kind of have like this, like, let's live in the moment energy with these two signs, which is great. But also like the moment does have, sometimes consequences for us down the road. So just pause, think before we do any crazy big impulsive spending, or like mindful of what we're imbibing over these days. And then as we go into Wednesday, we have Capricorn moon, 5:38 a.m. And this goes through the 10th, Thursday, all day. And then into the 11th, around lunchtime, power lunch with Capricorn moon. So these days, double cardinal energy with Libra and Capricorn in the sky is a great day to initiate things, a great day to start things, something you've been procrastinating on, something that's felt like, I don't know where to begin. Just start these days. It's going to feel good. You're going to feel refreshed. And then with that Capricorn energy, we're also going to talk about this is the day that Pluto stations direct in Capricorn. So that should bring its own little twist. things we look out for these days, sometimes double cardinal energy, we can feel very controlling of other people, of events, of outcomes. So just see if you notice where you're clenching or trying to control, can you unclench? Can you allow? Can you relax? And kind of see what that offers you. And then Friday, 12:30, Aquarius moon going into Saturday. And then Sunday until 4 o'clock p.m., Aquarius moon, Libra sun. We're social. We're getting out. We're feeding our social connections, our social health, whether that's new friends, old friends, family, community. Let's plug into the power of interrelational intelligence. And it also is a good time to stimulate the mind grapes, the mental field, learning something new, going down a little rabbit hole, diving into a good book, doing some, mental puzzles in the morning. It's like the air energy is really buzzy. The thing we're going to look out for those days is then making sure we stay grounded. I don't know for all of you, the Pisces eclipse had me deep in my feels, and that Libra eclipse, I was like, whoa, I felt so ungrounded and overstimulated. I mean, it was good. I was very busy and I was trying to keep my schedule open, but then I had a lot of last minute things come through. And it was all fine, but it was just very buzzy. Like my nervous system felt like I had like a vat, like a tub of caffeine. And then we go into just Sunday evening Pisces moon. So I love that as we get ready for the next week. Maybe Pisces moon, we take a nice restorative bath. We pull some tarot cards. Watch a movie that makes us feel some kind of a way. Make art, make love. Let's enjoy that Sunday evening. I'm just going to say those two energies we'll just look out for. Sometimes that's a good time to work on energy hygiene with the Libra sun, Pisces moon, pulling our energy back into ourselves, giving ourselves some of the love that we pour out into the world so freely. And so that is your moon report. That is what's going down for the week ahead. And let's talk about planetary planning. So again, if you're new here, if this is your first time listening, this is a briefer podcast. So I am trying to keep this a little bit like cosmic cliff notes for the week. So basically this week, I want us to think about the big thing is really integrating that big annular solar eclipse on October 2nd. It was big. It was huge. It was the last Libra eclipse we'll have for 33 years, and we're still integrating it. We're still in it. Eclipses aren't just like a one moment. They're like a gong going off and the reverberations coming out, or like, hitting something with, a missile or something. It's like there's a blast, there's an explosion, there's areas affected outside of it. So it's not just like a one-off part of our chart or a one-off day. So coming off of that, October 8th, I'm just going to say, I feel like eclipse season was like clipping season for our relationships, like showing them where they had to end or be pruned or be better. Right off of that, October 8th, there is a Venus-Mars trine, which kind of feels like the official, unofficial kickoff to cuffing season. These are the two love planets, and they're both in water signs. So it might be like a sweet, mushy, sentimental, lovey-dovey, romantical kind of day. Enjoy that. October 9th, Jupiter stations retrograde in Gemini. Listen, this happens every year. These outer planets spend the better part of the year retrograde. So it's not going to affect us so much in like the day-to-day, like, our travel and our computers and our communications, like Mercury, or our love or our money, our relationships like Venus, etc. But for the next 4 months until February 4th, Jupiter is like just maybe taking something that was going full steam ahead in the Gemini part of our chart and just having us, it's slowing down. Maybe Jupiter Gemini is a very fast moving energy. Jupiter's expansive. Gemini is air. It's quick. It's Mercury. So in this Jupiter retrograde, I just want you to see, like, maybe there's a call to rethink an idea you had, rewrite something you've been working on. I know this is like very literal for me because I'm handing in my first draft of my manuscript around this time. And it may be time to revamp some of your communications, your personal brand, reconnect with some friends or people in your local neighborhood. And definitely, like, for my mutable signs, we're going to feel this. If you have a lot of mutable signs in your chart, that's Gemini, Sag, Virgo, Pisces. I'm also going to say just like the general RX for this time feels like, we're going inward. And let's really activate and remember the other part of the Gemini twin, which is the listening twin. We think about Gemini a lot as communication and output, but I think some input listening, again, why this week is about reflection, introspection, integration. That is part of it. And then the other headline for the week is Pluto direct in Capricorn. So Pluto is stationing direct on October 11th, and Pluto's been retrograde since May 2nd through Capricorn, and it's been really like teetering on this 29th aneretic critical degree for a while. We can look back to Pluto went into Capricorn in 2008, really bringing up some deep transformation, revealing shadow energy, looking at like the dark, maybe underbelly of something in our life in the Capricorn part, and really going through this very significant 16-year cycle of, like breaking the bone to reset it, or a deep clean detox, looking at like the most intense renovation overhaul ever, because Capricorn is so much about tradition and karma and where we come from and things that are so deeply rooted and affect us so much on the systemic and personal level that the 16-year cycle has brought up a lot for all of us, right? Like no one is like, yeah, my life's exactly like it was in 2008, or my family is, or my work, or anything in there around us. And of course, on the macro level, we really see that. So there is going to be a kind of a strategic focus, like almost like this last month, because November 19th, Pluto will leave Capricorn forever. It's not going to return for a few hundred years. So none of us, unless any of you have secret, eternal life, vampire secrets, none of us will be alive for the next Pluto in Capricorn. So this is your last few weeks of Pluto and Capricorn. It's direct. It's like, get back to the mystical mission. Strategic focus on your spiritual growth. Like we are moving forward. We are cutting cords. We are clearing old karma. We're creating a new way to be in alignment with our own inner authority, our authenticity. And we're going to feel that a lot, especially where you have Capricorn in your chart, and then specifically like in those late degrees of Capricorn. So this is going to really like also help us process things that we've been healing on. I thought it was interesting. We just had these Libra eclipses. So I had mentioned that during Hurricane Katrina, we were in the North Node in Aries. That was August 2005. And then I was looking a little bit into like Pluto. Pluto was reclassified in 2006, August, so like a year later from that. And we had just finished up these Libra Aries eclipses, but technically we had just started the Pisces eclipse. And I was paying attention to these kind of like anomalies in the sky. It's like, pay attention, right? There's something really for us to pay attention to about Pluto right now. It's almost like we tried to be like, Pluto, you're not a planet. Like these scientists were like, let's make you disappear. And Pluto's like, oh yeah, I'm about to go into Capricorn and whoop some ass and show you some things. But it's that thing of kind of like we tried to like almost bury it, which is very Pluto, diminish it, undermine it. And that could be a metaphor for maybe some of the things that have been going on with Pluto and Capricorn in our chart, in our society. So just things to think about there. So thinking about, even for you, what has been made more conscious in your life? What is something that you maybe felt like gaslit on or didn't feel real to you? And then you've learned over these years, like, wow, that's been a really big healing journey for me. Where have you taken your power back? Where have you grieved something? Where have you healed something? Where have you unearthed something? Where have you gotten to the root cause? Where have you revealed, to heal, to deal? And there might be something in this really about like owning that power in that Pluto, in that Capricorn part of your chart. So again, it's a time of reflection. It's very Plutonic. It's very powerful. And it's like this deep ending. I almost got emotional this week being like, oh my God, Pluto and Capricorn, we're never going to experience it again. Because I just get so like caught up on this like finality of things. But also I was like, yeah, it's probably a good thing. That was a lot. That was a big cosmic collective reckoning. That's for damn sure. And a wrecking ball for sure in the personal and collective level. But to pay attention, the revolution, it's gathering speed. It's like we're picking up, and this is like our last chance in this lifetime to honor the shadow work of the Capricorn part of our chart in this deep way, this revolutionary energy, this rebirth. So just paying attention to anything that comes up out of the recesses of your consciousness, anything that comes up in terms of an ability to set a boundary or put some of your healing work and tools into play, into effect. And besides that, you've got this. This is like the final exam, but we've been in this school for 16 years. You know it by now, right? This is not going to be like surprises necessarily, but more like completion and really feeling like a finality of something. So on that note, I'm just sending all of you so much love, so much stardust. And of course, with this astrology, as always, I am just speaking blessings over you for the highest gifts of life, the highest feelings of actualization and expansion, and of course, big fat checks and hot, juicy sex. So this is Maddie Murphy. Until next time, mwah, big kisses. Do you love getting your Cosmic RX for the week here and want more? Make sure to sign up for our premium subscription so you can get exclusive access to bonus podcast episodes, all of my astrology info for the month ahead, and live new and full moon calls to help you manifest your dream life with an intentional international community of other cosmic baddies. Sign up through our link in show notes.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you want to know more about Cosmic RX, head on over to thecosmicrx.com. And if you really love this show, I'd love it if you left a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. I super love hearing from you and reading your reviews. All right, you cosmic baddie, tune in next week. And until then, remember, love yourself fully, work your magic, and take no shit.